Imagine walking through an airport so massive it could swallow entire cities. Beneath your feet, hidden tunnels sprawl for miles. Around you, strange murals depict apocalyptic visions. Outside, a demonic blue horse with glowing red eyes greets you at the gates. This isn't the plot of a sci-fi thriller, it's the very real Denver International Airport. But is it just the world's strangest airport, or a hub of secrets beyond imagination? From secret societies to doomsday bunkers, and the boldest claim of all, a Stargate connecting our world to others, this place may hold answers we were never meant to find. In the mid-1990s, Denver was a city that already had a perfectly functional airport. Stapleton International had served the region for decades, and at its peak, it handled over 30 million passengers a year. It was busy, yes, noisy, sure, but it was far from obsolete. So, when city leaders unveiled plans for a brand new airport, a facility not on the city's edge but 25 miles away from downtown, people were puzzled. What rose from the plains was unlike anything America had ever seen. Denver International Airport, or DIA, opened in 1995 as the largest airport in the United States by land area, sprawling across more than 33,000 acres. To put that into perspective, it's twice the size of Manhattan, larger than the island of San Francisco, and still far bigger than what a city the size of Denver seemed to need. The reasoning was framed in simple terms. Stapleton was surrounded by neighborhoods, limiting expansion. Noise complaints had piled up. A growing city needed an airport that could match its future. But not everyone was convinced. Why not upgrade Stapleton instead of building an entirely new facility in the middle of nowhere? The move meant constructing new highways, rail lines, and utilities, an extraordinary expense for a city of Denver's size. And then there was the design. The airport featured 6 runways, arranged in a sprawling pattern that, from the ground, looked unremarkable. But from the air, critics noted an unsettling resemblance to occult symbols, or worse, a swastika. The main terminal was no less striking. Covered in a roof of white fiberglass peaks, it was said to mimic the snow-capped Rocky Mountains. Others said it looked like a vast encampment, an intentional design meant for housing large groups of people. Almost immediately, whispers began. Why would Denver pour billions into an oversized, distant airport unless it served a purpose beyond travel? The sheer scale of DIA seemed mismatched with the city's needs. Conspiracy theorists suggested that the true purpose of the airport wasn't commercial aviation at all. Instead, DIA was rumored to be a hub of secret operations, an outpost for the world's elite, or perhaps even something more otherworldly. Travelers passed through, oblivious to the theories. But for those who looked closer, the airport's very existence raised a disturbing question. Was Denver International built for today's passengers or for tomorrow's hidden agenda? If DIA's remote location raised suspicions, its staggering cost only deepened them. The original estimate for the airport hovered around $2 billion, but by the time the doors opened, the price tag had nearly doubled, almost $5 billion spent. On the surface, officials blamed poor planning and technical issues. One of the most infamous was the automated baggage system, hailed as a breakthrough in airport efficiency. It was meant to whisk luggage seamlessly across the sprawling facility. Instead, it was a disaster. Bags were lost, tossed, or shredded by the machines. After wasting hundreds of millions of dollars, the entire system was abandoned, left to gather dust in sealed sections of the airport. But even with such blunders, experts questioned how costs could balloon so dramatically. Many argued that what passengers see above ground doesn't reflect a $5 billion airport. DIA's terminals and runways were large, yes, but they didn't justify the massive financial overrun. That's where the rumors began. Workers reported constructing vast underground facilities, reinforced tunnels and cavernous halls far below the surface. Some spoke of multi-level complexes complete with steel blast doors. The most troubling detail, many of these sections were sealed before the airport even opened, never used by the public. To skeptics, this was incompetence. To believers, it was evidence. Billions of taxpayer dollars had been diverted into secret projects hidden beneath Denver's plains. But for what? Some theories pointed to government bunkers. underground cities where the elite could shelter during nuclear war or global catastrophe. Others suggested links to nearby military installations like NORAD inside Chine Mountain, hinting at a covert continuity of government plan. Still others believed the excess funds funded research into technology beyond the public's understanding. What's undeniable is this: the financial trail vanishes. The public was told billions evaporated into overruns, but no clear answers were ever given. The money disappeared into the ground, quite literally. For many, Denver International Airport isn't just an airport. It's the most expensive cover story ever built, hiding secrets that may never see the light of day. If the Denver airport has one single feature that immediately catches the eye of visitors, it's the giant blue horse that greets travelers before they even set foot inside the terminal. Officially titled Blue Mustang, the sculpture quickly earned a darker nickname among locals, Blucifer. Standing 32 feet tall, weighing over 9,000 pounds and glowing with fiery red eyes, the beast doesn't exactly radiate warmth or welcome. Instead, it has been described as menacing, its veins bulging, its nostrils flaring, and its stance poised as if ready to charge at any moment. But the true strangeness of Blucifer isn't just in its unsettling appearance, it lies in its history. The artist, Luis Jimenez, tragically died while completing the sculpture. A section of the massive fiberglass Mustang fell on him in his studio, severing an artery in his leg. Some say this cursed beginning stained the statue with a dark energy, a permanent omen watching over the airport. Conspiracy theorists took this tragic event as proof that Blucifer was no ordinary work of art, but a deliberate symbol tied to secret societies. Why, they ask, would the airport commission such a terrifying creature to welcome travelers? Airports are usually designed to soothe anxieties, with calming art, neutral colors, and open spaces. Instead, Denver International greets passengers with a demon-eyed stallion. To some, this isn't a mistake or bad taste, but intentional psychological programming, an artistic warning of hidden forces at play. Some even link the Mustang to the mythological Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. After all, in Christian prophecy, the blue horse is not directly named, but horses of various colors, white, red, black, and pale, are said to herald the end times. Blucifer, with his glowing eyes and violent energy, is said to embody this apocalyptic imagery, standing watch over an airport many believe to be a hub of secret world power. Locals have mixed feelings about the horse. Some view it as a quirky piece of public art, while others feel genuine dread driving past it. Its eyes, glowing red both day and night, often feel alive, as if following you down Pena Boulevard. And then comes the final twist. The Denver airport itself acknowledges the conspiracy theories. Their own marketing campaigns have leaned into the strange reputation, with signs joking about lizard people, Illuminati headquarters, and yes, even Blucifer's reputation as an apocalyptic horse. But does humor deflect suspicion, or does it serve as misdirection? Is it a clever marketing trick, or a wink from those hiding something in plain sight? Blucifer stands as the airport's most visible symbol, and perhaps its most chilling. Whether you see it as cursed art, a modern gargoyle meant to protect, or a coded warning of dark forces, one fact remains. No one forgets their first encounter with the glowing red eyes of the Denver airport's blue horse. Inside Denver International Airport, beyond the eerie presence of Blucifer, lies another puzzle, its massive murals. Few public artworks in the world have stirred as much speculation as the murals created by artist Leo Tanguma. On the surface, these murals were meant to carry hopeful, uplifting messages about peace, unity, and humanity's responsibility to care for the Earth. But when travelers take a closer look, what they see appears far more disturbing. The murals are split into multiple panels, each filled with vivid imagery. In one, a soldier in a gas mask wields a rifle and sword, looming over weeping children and ruined cities. In another, lines of refugees stretch endlessly as they pass by destroyed environments. Yet in later panels, a phoenix rises from fire, and diverse children of the world join together, planting trees in harmony. To Tanguma, These paintings are about overcoming war and destruction to achieve peace. But conspiracy theorists argue they depict something much darker, a global plan for mass death followed by a new world order of unity under a single authority. The first panels, they claim, represent war, biological weapons, and genocide, while the later images are the rebirth under a controlled society. The presence of children throughout the murals adds to their eerie quality. Bright-eyed, innocent faces stand beside coffins or seem to bow to a central authority. Why children? Some interpret this as symbolism of future generations under control, or even indoctrination. The rainbow motifs scattered across panels are also debated. Are they symbols of hope or coded references to secret societies' visions of a perfect global system? It doesn't help that the murals are located in a high-security airport, a place already surrounded by rumors of hidden bunkers and underground facilities. The artwork feels out of place for travelers simply rushing to catch flights. Instead, it feels like a gallery of prophecy. Over the years, Denver International Airport has leaned into the speculation with tongue-in-cheek marketing, joking about the Illuminati headquarters. But, for those who believe the airport is more than it seems, the murals are smoking gun evidence. The New World Order isn't hiding, they're declaring their vision in public art. Whether you see the murals as darkly prophetic or optimistically symbolic, their unsettling tone is undeniable. Few travelers stop to look deeply at airport art. Yet at Denver, once you notice these murals, it's impossible to forget them. They raise a chilling question. Are these warnings, fantasies, or the clearest glimpse into the secret future planned for humanity? While the murals inside Denver International Airport unsettle travelers with visions of war and rebirth, the mystery deepens when people turn their attention downward to what lies beneath the surface. Rumors about Denver's underground tunnels and bunkers have circulated since the airport first opened in 1995. And for many conspiracy theorists, these secret facilities are the true heart of the mystery. Officially, the airport admits there are tunnels, but they were meant for a state-of-the-art automated baggage system, a system that famously malfunctioned and was eventually abandoned. Yet, instead of removing the infrastructure, the tunnels remain sealed off and unused. Why spend billions on underground construction just to let it rot? Some former workers and airport staff claim the tunnels go far deeper than publicly acknowledged, extending beyond simple luggage tracks into massive underground chambers. These, theorists say, could serve as bunkers for global elites in case of nuclear war, natural disaster, or even extraterrestrial contact. The sheer scale of construction, with multiple layers of underground space, has fueled speculation that we are only seeing the surface of something much larger. Satellite imagery and construction records also raise eyebrows. Billions of dollars went unaccounted for in DIA's budget, with costs far exceeding what was necessary for a standard airport. Theories suggest the money funneled into hidden infrastructure, from fortified shelters to underground rail lines linking DIA to Cheyenne Mountain, the famous NORAD facility. And then there's the strangest claim of all, that beneath the airport lies not merely bunkers, but something far older. A hidden chamber or gateway connected to ancient civilizations. Some researchers tie the airport's location to ley lines, claiming the tunnels connect to a global grid of power centers. Others suggest the underground structures could house advanced technology or even a Stargate-like portal waiting for activation. The airport itself has leaned into these rumors, posting playful signs during renovations saying, "Yes, the lizard people are welcome." But is this humor, or an attempt to normalize the whispers of truth? The unanswered question lingers. If the airport is just an airport, why does it have a labyrinth of sealed-off underground tunnels with no clear purpose? As the public debates, the tunnels remain locked away, hidden from view, fueling one of the most enduring mysteries of the Denver airport legend. If the underground tunnels of Denver International Airport spark theories of hidden chambers, the airport's dedication stone and its symbols provide even stranger evidence for those who suspect secret societies at work. Located near the entrance to the main terminal, this stone slab appears ordinary at first glance, but a closer look reveals details that have ignited decades of speculation. The most striking element is the Freemason symbol carved directly into the stone. The square and compasses, an emblem associated with the powerful and mysterious Fraternal Order. Conspiracy theorists argue this proves the airport was either funded or spiritually consecrated by Masons, who they claim are deeply tied to the shadowy New World Order. Beneath the symbol, the stone bears the words, New World Airport Commission. To the casual observer, this may sound like an official civic group, but no such organization has ever been identified. Researchers digging through Colorado archives and airport records have found no evidence of the group's existence. Who were they? Were they a front for something else? To some, this phrase is a smoking gun, a brazen declaration that the airport belongs to forces planning for a new world order. Adding further mystery, the stone includes a time capsule, sealed beneath it, not to be opened until the year 2094. What lies within remains a mystery. Airport officials say it contains local memorabilia, but conspiracy theorists argue it may hold blueprints, messages, or artifacts tied to whatever secret purpose the airport was built for. The symbolism doesn't stop at the capstone. Throughout the airport, odd inscriptions, strange markings on the floor, and artistic references to ancient cultures dot the landscape. Some are said to be Navajo language words, while others resemble mysterious runes. Skeptics argue they're harmless artistic choices, but believers see them as coded symbols pointing toward hidden truths. To the conspiracy-minded, the capstone represents more than a dedication. It is a cornerstone of intent. It suggests that the Denver airport is not merely an air hub, but a constructed symbol of hidden power. Was it intentionally designed as a meeting point for secret societies? Is the dedication stone a clue planted in plain sight? Even mainstream coverage admits the oddity. Why would such a prominent international airport choose to feature Masonic symbols and an untraceable organization on its official monument? Whether the truth is mundane or sinister, the capstone ensures that the mystery of Denver International Airport will endure for generations. As if the murals and capstone weren't enough to fuel suspicions, travelers walking through Denver International Airport soon notice another curious detail: gargoyles. Perched inside the baggage claim area, these statues of winged, grinning creatures sit within suitcases, peering down at passengers. To many, they feel entirely out of place. Why would a modern airport commission art more at home on the medieval spires of a cathedral? Traditionally, gargoyles were designed to ward off evil spirits, protecting the buildings they adorned. Architects of the Middle Ages believed they served both a practical purpose, draining rainwater from rooftops, and a mystical one, frightening away dark forces. In that sense, one could argue the gargoyles at DIA are simply playful nods to history, guardians watching over luggage. But conspiracy theorists see something deeper. Gargoyles, they argue, are not random decorations, but intentional occult symbols. They stand as watchers, guardians, not for travelers, but for something hidden beneath the airport. Their strange grins and unsettling presence suggest they are not keeping evil out, but perhaps keeping something in. Adding to the strangeness, one of the gargoyle sculptures has been given a voice. In recent years, DIA unveiled an animatronic gargoyle that interacts with visitors, joking about the airport's conspiracies. "Welcome to the Illuminati headquarters," it quips, laughing off the legends. But for many, this only adds fuel to the fire. Why does the airport lean so heavily into jokes about hidden societies, lizard people, and apocalyptic symbolism? Are they simply having fun, or mocking the public by hiding the truth in plain sight? Some researchers tie the gargoyles to larger occult traditions, arguing they are not mere guardians, but messengers, symbols that the airport is consecrated space for a ritual purpose. In conspiracy lore, such symbols are never accidental. They are markers left by secret architects to signal allegiance to hidden forces. Even more unsettling, the gargoyles appear near the baggage claim, a liminal space where people arrive or depart, a symbolic threshold. Some interpret this placement as intentional, aligning the statues with gateways or transitions. If Denver Airport is more than a transit hub, perhaps a hub between worlds, then the gargoyles stand as sentinels, silently keeping watch. Whether playful guardians, medieval art references, or occult markers, the gargoyles at DIA continue to baffle. For many, they are proof that the airport was designed with layers of meaning, hidden messages disguised as art, speaking only to those who know how to read them. Perhaps the most famous and unsettling piece of evidence in the Denver International Airport mystery is something you can only see from above: the layout of the runways. To the casual traveller standing in the terminal, the runways appear normal, long concrete strips stretching across the plains of Colorado. But aerial photos reveal a shocking pattern. The runways form the shape of a swastika. Airport officials have long explained this design as practical. The runways were arranged to allow for simultaneous takeoffs and landings, regardless of wind direction. From an engineering standpoint, the layout maximizes efficiency. Yet, conspiracy theorists argue that such a disturbing symbol could not have been accidental. Why not choose a different pattern? Why risk controversy over an internationally recognized emblem of hatred and totalitarianism? Some suggest the swastika shape is not about Nazi symbolism, but about ancient power. Long before it was associated with the Third Reich, the swastika appeared in cultures across the world, from Hinduism and Buddhism to Native American traditions. In these contexts, it represented energy, cycles, and cosmic balance. Could the airport's design be tapping into this ancient symbol, repurposing it as part of a larger ritual or energy grid? Others believe the swastika alignment ties Denver International to hidden agendas involving secret societies. The Nazis themselves were obsessed with the occult and theories of advanced technology, including gateways to other worlds. Theories circulate that the runway design is more than symbolic. It's functional, aligning the airport with ley lines or acting as a giant occult sigil, visible only from the sky. Theories deepen when tied to the underground rumors. If tunnels and hidden chambers do exist below DIA, then perhaps the runway design above is not arbitrary. Could it serve as a marking, signaling to those in orbit, or beyond, that this location is not an airport, but a hub of greater importance? A Stargate, perhaps? Skeptics dismiss these ideas, pointing out that many airports have unusual designs when seen from above. Yet Denver's remains one of the few to so clearly resemble such a charged and controversial symbol. Even if it were truly accidental, it feels emblematic of the airport's greater mystery, a place where the ordinary and the ominous intertwine. The runways of Denver International are more than just strips of pavement. They are symbols seen from above that suggest the airport was meant to be more than it appears. Whether practical design, occult alignment, or coded declaration, they add another layer to the puzzle of an airport that refuses to be ordinary. Beneath Denver International Airport lies a hidden world, at least that's what the rumors say. Stories have persisted for decades about vast underground tunnels, secret chambers, and military-style bunkers sprawling beneath the runways. Officially, airport authorities admit that there are utility tunnels, baggage systems, and maintenance corridors, but conspiracy theorists argue the scale is far beyond what would be required for normal airport operations. Some claim there's an entire subterranean city, complete with train systems, command centers, and even living quarters. The origins of this belief trace back to the troubled construction of the airport itself. DIA's automated baggage system, for example, was a notorious disaster, costing millions, frequently malfunctioning, and eventually abandoned. Conspiracists argue that this debacle was simply a cover story for something else, the digging of tunnels that had nothing to do with luggage. Satellite photos and leaked construction blueprints seem to show areas unaccounted for, sections that supposedly go much deeper underground than explained. Then there are the eyewitness accounts. Contractors who worked on the site reported strange compartmentalization during construction, where teams were brought in, worked on one section, and then dismissed without explanation, preventing anyone from seeing the full picture. One whistleblower claimed to have seen vast caverns large enough to fit military aircraft, carved deep into the Colorado bedrock. The purpose of these alleged underground facilities is where theories diverge. Some believe they serve as a secret government or military bunker, similar to Cheyenne Mountain but larger and more advanced. Others suggest it's a survival shelter for world elites, designed to withstand global catastrophe. The most speculative theories push even further, suggesting the underground complex is a Stargate facility, where advanced technology, or even extraterrestrial beings are hidden from the public eye. While the mainstream explanation is far more mundane, the lack of transparency fuels suspicion. Airport officials allow rare tours of some tunnels, but many areas remain completely off-limits. And that secrecy ensures the legend of DIA's underground world continues to grow. If the tunnels beneath Denver International Airport weren't mysterious enough, some theorists insist they aren't just storage or bunkers, but the location of a Stargate, a portal capable of transporting beings across time and space. The idea sounds straight out of science fiction, yet it has attracted a devoted following. The theory suggests DIA wasn't merely built as an airport, but as a carefully chosen site for advanced, possibly extraterrestrial technology. Believers point to the airport's unusual features, the runways shaped vaguely like a swastika, the enormous underground space and the odd artwork, as coded signals. Some claim that the strange murals depicting apocalypse and rebirth hide symbolic instructions for humanity's role in a larger, interstellar narrative. Others insist that the horse statue with glowing red eyes is not just art, but a guardian of the portal below. The Stargate theory gained traction when whispers emerged that the US government had long been researching such technology, citing parallels to rumors about Stargate programs in Iraq and Egypt. In this telling, DIA would be one of the West's most guarded installations, a place where science, occult symbolism, and extraterrestrial cooperation converge. The idea goes further. Conspiracy forums often link the Stargate to supposed alien agreements with world governments, suggesting the underground facilities may host extraterrestrial visitors who use the gate to travel unseen. The airport's remote location on the Colorado Plains is cited as a strategic advantage, offering both isolation and proximity to NORAD's Cheyenne Mountain complex. Skeptics argue there's no physical evidence of such a portal. The murals, statues, and architecture can all be explained as avant-garde art or simply poor design choices. But for those who believe, the very absence of proof is the proof. After all, if a Stargate existed, would we ever expect to see it openly? The enduring fascination with the Stargate theory reflects a deeper cultural hunger, our desire to believe there's more hidden beneath the surface of ordinary life. DIA isn't just an airport in this narrative, it's a gateway to the unknown. One of the strangest elements fueling the Denver airport mystery is its murals and art installations. For many travelers, these pieces are merely bizarre, thought-provoking artworks, but for conspiracy theorists, they are coded messages revealing the airport's darker purpose. The most infamous murals are the massive works by artist Leo Tanguma. They depict scenes of war, chaos, environmental destruction, and eventually peace and harmony. In one panel, a masked soldier with a rifle looms over crying children while cities burn in the background. Another shows children of the world gathering around a glowing plant, watched over by a rainbow. The contrast between violence and utopia has led some to believe the murals portray humanity's destruction, followed by the rise of a new world order. Theories suggest these murals act as a blueprint, the violent panels symbolizing the engineered collapse of society, while the peaceful ones depict the controlled rebirth that follows. Some even claim the children of the murals represent survivors chosen for a new era, perhaps housed in the underground bunkers beneath DIA. Beyond the murals, the art throughout the airport is equally unsettling. Gargoyle statues sit in open suitcases, peering down at passengers. A dedication stone includes the words New World Airport Commission, an organization that oddly enough doesn't exist. To skeptics, these are just odd design choices, but to believers they are deliberate signals, a public display of hidden power. The airport has leaned into the rumors, even launching tongue-in-cheek marketing campaigns poking fun at its conspiracies. Yet, the more they joke, the more suspicious minds grow. If it were truly innocent, why not just explain everything? The secrecy, coupled with provocative art, makes Denver International Airport feel less like a transit hub and more like a riddle carved into stone and paint. For passengers passing through, the murals may be nothing more than surreal airport art. But for those who believe, they are warnings and the key to unlocking the mystery of what DIA really is. By the time the Denver International Airport conspiracy theories spilled into mainstream conversation, they had already crossed into something much bigger than fringe whispers. They had become part of culture itself, a phenomenon living in the strange overlap between fact, satire, and entertainment. Few modern conspiracies have achieved this level of recognition, where an airport, meant to be a functional, forgettable place, transformed into a pop culture icon of secrecy and speculation. It began quietly. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, websites and forums started trading blurry photographs of DIA's murals, strange aerial views of the runways, and odd construction details. These images circulated with captions speculating about Illuminati bunkers or alien portals, fueling curiosity. But as the internet expanded into the age of memes and viral storytelling, DIA's reputation exploded. Suddenly, what had once been the territory of late-night radio programs and underground zines became the material of comedy sketches, online videos, and social media humor. The airport itself leaned into the storm. In 2018, when parts of DIA went under renovation, the management team made a bold choice. Instead of denying the theories, they played along with them. Construction walls were plastered with giant posters asking questions like, "What are we doing?" followed by answers such as remodeling or hiding the Illuminati's headquarters. Another teased the public with the line, "Are we building a giant lizard's lair?" Or just improving the airport. The tongue-in-cheek campaign not only embraced the conspiracy chatter, but also immortalized it. DIA officially became in on the joke, a surreal blending of truth and satire. Pop culture amplified it further. References to Denver's supposed hidden bunkers and portals appeared in television shows, podcasts, and YouTube documentaries. Comedians joked about it in stand-up routines. Paranormal investigators made entire episodes dedicated to DIA, weaving it into the same conversations as Area 51 and Roswell. And in the digital age, memes became the ultimate carrier. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok filled with viral jokes about DIA's glowing-eyed horse, Lucifer, and what really lies beneath the airport's endless runways. But beneath the humor lies something more profound. The very act of joking about DIA keeps the conspiracies alive. Each meme shared, each tongue-in-cheek remark, ensures that the theories remain lodged in collective memory. Humor became the perfect camouflage. While people laugh, they also wonder, what if there really is something here? The balance between skepticism and imagination ensures that DIA's mysteries never fade. Even official figures have commented on it. Journalists, cultural critics, and conspiracy researchers alike point to DIA as one of the rare cases where an urban legend has been fully absorbed into everyday life. Most airports are symbols of routine, of monotony, of passing through. Denver's airport, however, became a destination for curiosity. Tourists now visit not just for flights, but to take selfies with Lucifer, to pose in front of the murals, to whisper jokes about secret tunnels beneath their feet. And yet, while DIA has embraced the fun, some argue that this may be part of the strategy. By reducing suspicion to a punchline, real questions can be buried under laughter. After all, if you tell the public you're hiding aliens but with a wink and a smile, who's going to press harder? The blending of humor and myth becomes a shield, making the conspiracies harder to take seriously, even if fragments of truth hide within them. If Denver International Airport is truly more than a transportation hub, then the most tantalizing evidence must come from those who claim to have seen what lies beyond the public's gaze. Over the years, scattered testimonies have emerged, from construction workers, contractors, and anonymous whistleblowers, suggesting that the story of DIA runs far deeper than what official tours reveal. Some of the earliest whispers came from builders hired during the airport's prolonged construction in the 1990s. Workers described vast underground tunnels far larger than what baggage systems required, built with reinforced concrete as if designed to withstand massive impacts or even attacks. Several claimed they were instructed to complete sections of construction without being told their full purpose. Others reported being abruptly reassigned or dismissed when they asked too many questions. In a project plagued by delays and budget overruns, These fragments fed into suspicions that DIA's true design was being deliberately hidden. One anonymous source whose testimony surfaced on conspiracy forums described working in areas that seemed almost like underground dormitories, complete with ventilation systems, reinforced blast doors, and unusual wiring, far beyond what an airport would need. While unverifiable, such stories spread like wildfire, each retelling adding another layer to the mythos. Then there are the alleged voices of former military contractors. According to rumour, DIA sits atop one of several deep underground military bases, or DUMBS, part of a network designed for continuity of government in the event of nuclear war or global collapse. In this framework, DIA becomes more than just an airport. It becomes a fortress, a safe haven for elites, and perhaps a testing ground for advanced technology. More sensational still are claims tied directly to the Stargate theory. Some whistleblowers have described encountering strange energy anomalies deep within the tunnels, static fields that interfered with electronics, unexplained vibrations in the walls, or humming noises that had no visible source. One contractor even suggested that portions of the underground facility were built around something that already existed there, as if DIA's construction was meant to cover or integrate with a pre-existing site. Could this have been a relic of ancient technology, or a modern experiment in interdimensional physics? Critics dismissed these stories as exaggerations or outright fabrications. After all, anonymous internet testimonies rarely hold up under scrutiny. Yet even skeptics admit there are mysteries in DIA's construction record. The unusual secrecy surrounding certain contracts, the vast budget overruns, and the lack of transparency about the airport's full underground layout. It leaves room for speculation, for doubt, and for possibility. More recently, independent researchers and self-styled whistleblowers on platforms like YouTube and Reddit continue to share supposed inside knowledge, claiming restricted sections of the tunnels still hum with activity. Some describe unmarked trucks delivering equipment at odd hours, while others point to heat signatures beneath the runways visible in satellite scans, suggesting ongoing operations underground. The truth is elusive. Real whistleblowers, if they exist, may be drowned out by the noise of fabrications, memes, and opportunistic storytellers. But in the grand narrative of DIA, these voices in the dark serve an important role. They fuel the sense that beneath the polished halls of one of America's busiest airports lies a labyrinth of secrets guarded not just by security but by silence itself. Among the most enduring and unsettling claims about Denver International Airport is that it was built not for travelers, but as an escape hatch for the global elite. According to this theory, the airport's vast underground complexes were never intended for baggage systems or passenger flow, but as survival bunkers, a hidden ark capable of sheltering world leaders, military officials, and billionaires during humanity's darkest hours. The supposed evidence is chilling. First, the sheer scale. DIA covers 53 square miles, making it the largest airport in the United States by land area, and its underground facilities are rumoured to stretch for miles, dwarfing any known substructure in modern aviation. Billions of dollars were poured into construction, far exceeding original estimates, and much of that budget was allocated to projects the public has never seen. Some engineers and construction workers claimed that multiple layers of subterranean structures were built, only to be mysteriously buried and abandoned. What, conspiracy theorists ask, was the real purpose of these hidden levels? Then there's the strategic location. Denver sits at a high elevation, over 5,000 feet above sea level, far from vulnerable coastal regions. In the event of catastrophic flooding, sea level rise, or global disaster, it would remain safe while much of the world is submerged or devastated. The city's proximity to the Rocky Mountains also offers natural protection, while its central location in North America makes it a logical hub for retreat and coordination. To those who believe in the theory, this isn't coincidence. It's careful planning for a doomsday scenario. The airport's notorious artwork and symbols take on an even darker significance when viewed through this lens. Murals depicting scenes of global destruction, masked soldiers, and eventual rebirth are interpreted as the elite's blueprint for survival, a roadmap for a controlled apocalypse followed by their vision of a renewed world. Statues of gargoyles, strange symbols inlaid on floors, and the infamous blue Mustang with its fiery red eyes are seen as guardians, sentinels, and warnings, icons meant to signal that DIA is not merely a public airport, but a fortress for those who will inherit the Earth when disaster strikes. Stories persist of restricted access elevators and unmarked doors that lead deep into the Earth. Some airport employees have reported strange construction zones, sealed hallways or tunnels that extend far beyond normal operational needs. Whispers circulate of an entire underground city, complete with living quarters, power systems, and storage capable of sustaining thousands for years. Conspiracy theorists go even further, claiming that these bunkers are connected to the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, the legendary Cold War fortress of NORAD, by secret tunnels running beneath the Rockies for dozens of miles. If true, this would mean that Denver International Airport is not just a transportation hub, but the nerve center of a global continuity plan, a hidden refuge designed to keep the powerful safe while the rest of humanity faces the storm above. Nuclear war? They'd be secure. A biological catastrophe? They'd already have stockpiles and medical facilities ready. Even an alien invasion. The elite would watch from below as the world changed forever. The unsettling implication is that while the public bustles through DIA's brightly lit terminals, grabbing coffee and boarding flights, another reality may lie just beneath their feet. Behind locked doors, below unmarked elevators, the powerful may already have their lifeboat prepared, hidden in plain sight. And if the day ever comes when catastrophe strikes, Denver International Airport may transform from an ordinary hub of travel into the most exclusive refuge on Earth, one designed not for you or me, but for them. For many, the most outlandish and paradoxically the most compelling theory about Denver International Airport is the claim that it conceals a Stargate, a literal doorway to other dimensions, or to worlds far beyond our solar system. On its face, the idea reads like science fiction, the sort of concept you'd expect from a late-night pulp novel or a blockbuster screenplay. Yet when you line up the curious facts, the strange artwork, the anomalous reports, and the airport's own odd choices, a pattern emerges that is hard for some to simply dismiss. The theory first takes shape in geography. Denver sits roughly along the 104th meridian, a line that, to the lay observer, is just a coordinate on a map. To the theorist, it's something far more, a potential node in an invisible latticework of power. Popular occult and alternative archaeological lore talks of ley lines, hypothetical alignments that tether ancient sites like the pyramids, Stonehenge, and Teotihuacan with invisible currents of energy. Believers argue these lines were understood in some way by prehistoric builders and that modern planners have occasionally, perhaps deliberately, positioned modern structures on these points of convergence. If such currents exist, a place like DIA could sit on a meeting point, a hinge where terrestrial and extraterrestrial energies are easier to manipulate. For believers, that makes it prime real estate for a portal. Architecture, in this reading, becomes language. From the sky, Denver's runways sketch geometry that some interpret as deliberate, not just useful for wind and traffic patterns, but symbolic, an aerial sigil meant to align with cosmic forces. The airport's tented roof, its peaks and valleys, don't only echo the Rockies, they have been compared by those who see patterns to mountain iconography in ancient myth and to early experimental designs for high-voltage energy systems. Some point to historical inventors like Nikola Tesla, noting the language of resonant fields and transmitters in a way that invites speculation. Could a cover of concrete and fabric be masking devices intended to focus or channel energy? Then come the human and sometimes unnerving reports. Travelers and airport workers have, for years, shared stories of sudden disorientation in certain terminals, watches that stop, compasses that spin, phones that die and reboot with corrupted data. Others report a kind of temporal fuzziness, the sensation of a lost hour after a layover, or more dramatic claims of missing time that read like stories from UFO folklore. Pilots have sometimes reported odd lights on approach, and amateur investigators claim to have recorded electromagnetic anomalies around specific coordinates. Skeptics rightly point to exhaustion, electromagnetic interference from normal equipment, or confirmation bias. Yet the persistence of similar accounts keeps interest alive. For those who believe, these are not random glitches but fingerprints of something larger. Dimensional bleed, the veil between worlds thinned in places where conditions are right. The airport's murals and iconography are rolled into this narrative as well. Tanguma's panels, sequences that move from devastation to rebirth, children clasping hands around a luminous plant, imagery of unity and healing, are read as allegory rather than simple social commentary. In the Stargate framework, these panels become more than art. They are a promise or a manual, hints that humanity is preparing or being prepared to step through. The child-centered scenes take on an especially eerie cast. Are they images of a chosen generation, the ones who will cross? Is the plant a symbolic seed of contact, glowing with alien light? If you accept the premise even for a moment, the ethical and practical questions swell. Who would control such a gate? If government entities, what would their protocols be? If private cabals or secret societies, what would their motives be? And the darkest question, if a portal exists, can we be sure it only serves as a bridge outward? Portals, in myth and modern storytelling, are typically two-way. They invite traffic coming both ways. That raises not just geopolitical concerns, but existential ones. If something not human can come through, are we prepared to meet it? Ultimately, the Stargate theory rests on the tension between possibility and proof. The physical curiosities of DIA, its location, its geometry, its art, provide a stage on which the imagination can act. Eyewitness reports and anomalous data supply the actors. But the curtain has never been pulled back. No definitive evidence has been presented that proves the literal existence of an interdimensional gate. Still, for a culture that loves mysteries and metaphors in equal measure, DIA functions as a kind of modern myth, a place where science, symbolism, fear and hope overlap. As our exploration of Denver International Airport's mysteries draws to a close, one truth emerges above all else. Whether rooted in fact or born from imagination, DIA has transformed into one of the greatest modern myths of our time. It is no longer viewed simply as a hub for travelers or a waypoint for connecting flights. It has become a living story, a cultural touchstone where the mundane world of airports collides with whispers of hidden bunkers, secret societies, aliens, and even portals to other worlds. For skeptics, the explanations seem obvious and sufficient. The apocalyptic murals, commissioned by artists, their meanings misinterpreted. The eerie gargoyles and statues, meant as playful or protective symbols, not sinister guardians. The sprawling underground tunnels, failed baggage systems and storage spaces that spiraled out of control in cost, and those billions of dollars in construction overruns, bureaucratic inefficiency and mismanagement, nothing more. Yet for many, such explanations fall short. They feel too convenient, too dismissive, as if designed to close the case rather than answer it. For conspiracy theorists, DIA's oddities are not accidents or artistic quirks, but pieces of a puzzle, a series of breadcrumbs left scattered by powers operating just out of sight. To them, the strange artwork, hidden symbols, restricted doors, and endless tunnels form a tapestry of secrets too carefully woven to ignore. At the heart of these stories lies the most audacious claim of all, that DIA is home to a Stargate, a literal gateway to other dimensions or far-off worlds. It's a theory that stretches imagination to its limits, but it persists because it taps into something deeply human. Our longing for mystery, our hunger for hidden truths, and our hope that reality is far stranger than what we see on the surface. The Stargate theory resonates not because it's proven, but because it suggests that beneath our everyday routines lies a vast cosmic stage waiting to be revealed. And perhaps that is what makes DIA so compelling. It is not just the conspiracies themselves, but what they represent. In a world increasingly defined by technology, data, and rational explanations, DIA offers a rare reminder that mystery still exists. It shows how, even in our modern age, stories of shadowy elites, secret bases, or interdimensional portals can thrive and even shape the way people see a building as ordinary as an airport. Every day, thousands of travelers pass through DIA's gates, rolling luggage across its polished floors, staring out at planes lined up against the Colorado plains. Most never think about what lies beneath their feet or above their heads. Yet some do. Some pause at the murals, glance at the gargoyles, or catch sight of the watchful blue eyes of the infamous horse statue that greets every visitor. And in those moments, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. They remember the stories, the whispers, the warnings, that perhaps DIA is more than it seems. Whether or not the conspiracies hold any truth may matter less than the fact that they continue to endure. They inspire fascination, debate, and wonder. They remind us that humans are storytellers at heart, forever searching for meaning beyond what is given. DIA is a stage upon which we project our deepest fears, that the powerful are plotting in secret, that we are pawns in a larger game, and our greatest hopes, that there are doorways waiting to be opened, paths that lead beyond Earth, and destinies far greater than what we now know. In the end, the Denver Airport Stargate conspiracy is not about confirming facts. It is about preserving mystery. It stands as a testament to the human imagination, a living legend that proves myth-making did not vanish with ancient civilizations, but thrives even now in the heart of the modern world. So, the next time you find yourself at Denver International Airport, waiting for a flight or watching the planes ascend into the horizon, take a moment to look around. Notice the runways stretching in strange patterns, the murals rich with cryptic meaning, the shadows that hint at doors leading below. Ask yourself, is this just another airport, a product of poor planning and eccentric art? Or could you, right now, be standing on the threshold of something far greater, a gateway to the unknown, hidden in plain sight? Because sometimes the most ordinary places hold the most extraordinary secrets. Let's step back and ask, why does this particular airport inspire so much intrigue? It could be the murals, massive, vivid, and surreal. Designed by artist Leo Tanguma, they are officially meant to convey messages of peace, unity, and environmental harmony. Yet many viewers interpret them quite differently. Images of gas-masked soldiers, burning cities, crying children, and doves impaled on swords don't exactly say, "Welcome aboard." To some, they feel like a warning or a prophecy. Or maybe it's the infamous horse sculpture, Blue Mustang, better known to locals as Blucifer. With glowing red eyes and a violent history, the statue actually killed its creator when a piece fell during construction. It towers at the airport's entrance like a gatekeeper to another world. Its demonic presence, visible from miles away, sets a tone that's hard to shake. Then there are the underground tunnels. Originally built for an automated baggage system that famously failed, these tunnels now lie mostly abandoned. But they haven't been forgotten. Whispers of secret bunkers, government shelters, and even extraterrestrial holding facilities swirl in online forums and late-night radio shows. Some theorists suggest these underground chambers weren't built for baggage at all, but as access points to a deeper, hidden network, perhaps even to something non-terrestrial. And this is where the Stargate theory begins to take shape. A Stargate, as imagined in popular culture, is a device capable of instantaneous travel across galaxies or even dimensions. Some believe these devices are remnants of ancient advanced civilizations, possibly extraterrestrial in origin. If such technology exists, where better to hide it than beneath a major transportation hub, disguised by noise, construction, and the perfect cover of bureaucratic chaos. Supporters of the theory argue that DIA's location was chosen not arbitrarily, but precisely. Nestled on land filled with strange energy readings, ley lines, and magnetic anomalies, Denver becomes the ideal candidate for anchoring a device that manipulates time and space. Add to this the strange symbols carved into floor tiles, the inexplicable reference to the New World Airport Commission, an organization that doesn't exist, and construction costs that ballooned by billions, and suddenly the lines between fact and fiction blur. Critics are quick to dismiss it all as harmless speculation. They point to Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually correct. An airport is just an airport, they say. The strange art is just art. The underground tunnels are just tunnels, nothing more, nothing less. But here's the thing about conspiracy theories. They flourish in the grey spaces between what we know and what we're told. They grow in silence. They survive because of ambiguity. And Denver International Airport offers just enough ambiguity to keep the story alive. The Stargate theory isn't just about interstellar travel or alien technology. It taps into something older. Our fascination with portals, with hidden worlds, with doors we're told not to open. From ancient myths of wormholes in the stars to the modern sci-fi imaginings of wormholes and quantum gateways, humanity has always been obsessed with the idea that somewhere beneath a mountain, behind a door, under an airport, there may be a passage to somewhere else. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. But the real power of the Denver Airport Stargate conspiracy doesn't lie in whether it's true. It lies in what it represents. Our collective hunger for mystery in a world that increasingly insists it has all the answers. In an age of satellite surveillance, data transparency, and instant information, DIA reminds us that some things remain just out of reach, deliberately or not. It challenges us to look closer, to question the narrative, to wonder if what we see is really all there is. So what do you believe? Is Denver International Airport merely a quirky, oversized air hub with a flair for the artistic and the absurd? Or is it something else entirely? A veiled monument built atop ancient knowledge, holding a gateway that only a few truly understand? A Stargate waiting in silence. The truth, as always, is up to you, and perhaps the greater question is not whether the Stargate exists, but whether we're ready for what's on the other side. And so, the story of Denver International Airport does not conclude with tidy explanations or neatly folded facts. Instead, it leaves us at a crossroads, where truth and speculation blur, and where each hallway leads not just to gates, but to deeper questions. Beneath the towering white peaks that mimic Colorado's snow-capped mountains, and hidden beneath the expanse of concrete runways stretching like veins across the plains, there lies something more, something deeper. For some, it's just infrastructure, a marvel of engineering and urban planning. But for others, it is a place steeped in symbolism, in secrecy, and in silence. A place where power whispers through murals, where coded messages hide in plain sight, and where the architecture itself may hint at a purpose beyond transportation. Since its opening in 1995, Denver International Airport, DIA, has been the epicenter of countless theories, rumors, and shadowy narratives. From the ominous horse statue with glowing red eyes, affectionately and fearfully dubbed Lucifer, to the murals that many interpret as allegories of totalitarianism, apocalypse, and rebirth, every corner of this airport seems to hold a riddle. Some say it's coincidence. That the sinister horse is just misunderstood art. That the murals are meant to represent peace, not oppression. That the odd layout of the runways, which resembles a swastika from above, is purely for efficiency and wind optimization. That the time capsule placed beneath the Great Hall, with mysterious inscriptions and symbols, contains nothing more than local memorabilia. That the supposed miles of underground tunnels are merely service routes and baggage conveyors, not hidden bunkers or elite sanctuaries. But others aren't so easily convinced. They point to the construction overages, nearly $2 billion above the original budget, and ask, where did that money go? They ask why so many rumors persist about multi-level subterranean facilities, why eyewitness accounts from construction workers speak of sealed-off tunnels and floors that lead to nowhere, why, despite being an airport, certain areas remain heavily restricted, even to staff, and why some of the airport's plaques make references to the New World Airport Commission, an organization that doesn't seem to exist anywhere outside of DIA's walls. And then, there are the whispers of something even stranger. Some believe that beneath Denver lies a technological anomaly, a gateway of sorts, not metaphorical but literal, a Stargate, a portal capable of bending the very laws of physics, time, and space, a relic of reverse-engineered extraterrestrial technology, or perhaps something ancient, something older than we dare imagine. They suggest that DIA's location was chosen not for its geography or logistics, but for reasons tied to energy lines, magnetic fields, and access to dimensional rifts. Wild theories? Maybe. But history has shown us time and again that truth often hides in the places we least expect, shrouded in ridicule until it can no longer be ignored. Perhaps DIA is just an airport, or perhaps it is a threshold, a carefully constructed monument by those who know far more than they will ever tell, a place built not just to transport bodies, but to prepare minds. And so, we're left with questions. Not just about Denver International Airport, but about the nature of our reality. Who decides what we are allowed to know? Why do the same symbols, pyramids, all-seeing eyes, serpents, ancient gods, recur throughout time and across civilizations? And why do they seem to appear, yet again, here? Maybe it's all coincidence. A series of artistic choices, misunderstood intentions, and imaginative minds connecting dots where there are none. But maybe, just maybe, Denver is more than it seems. Not just a place, but a signal. Not just an airport, but an invitation. The truth isn't mine to decide, it's yours. What do you believe lies beneath the Colorado plains? Is it just a failed baggage system and quirky art, or is it something far more profound? A relic of a hidden world, a doorway to another, a stargate to the stars? If these mysteries intrigue you, if they call to the part of you that wonders what else might be out there, then stay with us. This is only the beginning. Subscribe to this channel, share your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and join us as we continue to investigate the hidden, the strange, and the unexplained. Because our world is full of doors, some ancient, some new, waiting to be opened.